Aloe Vera has done. So come on, don't be afraid. I know you all wouldn't be on if you weren't taking the aloe, so we want to hear from you. Miss Rebecca definitely wants to hear from you all.
Let me just say, now you all have been on like a 3-month vacation or sabbatical, and it's really good to share with us, with this audience, some of the things that you've done as relates to the aloe vera, even if you've introduced new friends to actually come in and be a part of this family and taking the aloe vera juice. I mean, that's something good if during that time off that you all brought somebody in or are taking the aloe vera and how they're doing, even if they're not online. I mean, that would definitely help. And again, you know, we don't want Miss Rebecca to always be the, you know, I would say the person that's bringing a lot of things in right now. She wants to hear you all. She needs to take a break. And I tell you, she's been up at that market in the DMV over at St. Elizabeth. I mean, those people come up there, they get their aloe vera. I know somebody have to say something good about that. And she works very hard, very diligently in making sure you all get your juice. And I think the least that we can do is to kind of like give some testimonies or even talk about your the anniversary of how long you've been on the juice and what it's done for you. And I'm just pleading that and ask that you all just come on out and just share. We all are family here because we all have something positive to say about this. And it's just good to hear what it's done for others. And Donna, I'm not going to talk anymore, but that's all.
I know, I appreciate it. So yeah.
Well, this is Michael Marshall. How's everybody? How you doing, Miss Rebecca?
Fine, thank
Is
you.
she on? That's good. I just wanted to say that I appreciate you speaking with a friend of mine, a friend of mine that was in New York, who had a situation come up with monkeypox. And when I sent it, when you sent it to him, I followed up with the individual, and they're doing better. And he wanted to let you know that he appreciates you for sending him, that batch of aloe vera. Can you explain to us exactly what the aloe vera does to that level of virus and what the monkeypox is, if you don't mind?
Okay, can you all hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am,
we
I
can
can hear you.
you.
Okay.
Yes.
Remember I said monkeypox is a virus, and viruses are very, very tricky and very determined. And so what monkeypox is very similar to chickenpox. And if you understand chickenpox is actually shingles in adults. And what these viruses do, they get into your bloodstream, they get into your cells, and remember, the cells won't allow bacteria to enter them, but a virus will pretend to be a part of the cell, and it will enter the cell. And once it enters the cell, it immediately starts to replicate itself. And that's how it takes over the body. And so a person that has monkeypox, just like chickenpox, that liquid that comes from that pimple is extremely contagious. The person doesn't have to touch you. If this liquid get on you, and it can, because what happens, the pimple bursts and the liquid can escape. And if you are in the path of that liquid, you become the victim. A virus is a living organism. All it needs to survive is a host. It cannot survive outside of the body of a host. And so when it enters your body, it immediately become in competition with you for your oxygen. Because it's a living organism, it needs oxygen. And that's why you see people who have viruses end up on respirators, because the virus is determined that it will survive and it's in competition with you. And if it survives, you will end up dying. And that's how serious this is. Yes.
So, Miss Rebecca, so it's a misnomer, because I'm glad you said chickenpox, because he was just saying how painful it is. He said every time a bump would come,
Yep.
it was painful. So the misnomer is that this is not a sexually transmitted disease, but it is a childhood transmitted disease, because it's as easy to get as chickenpox.
Yep. It's as easy to get, and it's as contagious as chickenpox.
And it hurts like chickenpox, right?
It is, because it's in the same family of chickenpox and smallpox.
And so when he found out that he had it, he had to trace his steps back, and how he it was transmitted to him. He was at a bar drinking with people, and they were drunk, and they were holding each other up, trying to get out of the bar they were in, getting into cabs. So they transmitted it through that type of contact, because they were so drunk they had to hold somebody up.
Right, and somebody in that group had that virus, and he happened to be the one that was in the path of the virus, and that's how he caught it. That's how it works.
Thank you. And one last question. So the strength of the aloe vera that you're providing now, is it strong enough to be able that if it detects monkeypox in the cells? Because I remember you saying that monkeypox can lie dormant. Yeah. It can reoccur, meaning like it doesn't have to show itself now. It can wait till your immune system is low and just all of a sudden be in your system, but never show its face until months down the line, correct?
Years down the line. These viruses can lie in your system as long as 12 years and longer.
So,
and
does the aloe vera destroy it when it detects it? It starts.
Yep, it destroys it. That's what happened. The aloe vera, the virus is lying dormant. The aloe vera gets into the bloodstream, detects it, destroys it, and remove it from the system. Because it lies there waiting for your immune system to become compromised. Once it becomes compromised, that's when the virus, and you have to understand, a virus is a very smart organism. It will wait you out. It will live in you, on you, with you, and when it's done, it will kill you. That's how smart this is. That's why you can't play around with viruses. Just to name a few: cancer is a virus, AIDS is a virus, herpes is a virus, chickenpox, shingles, measles. These are all viruses. These things are all deadly.
Wow,
they're all deadly.
Wow, there's some bad mothers. Shut my mouth. Woo.
Yeah, they are all deadly. And if you're not wise to their techniques, because you have to understand, they're living inside of you, so they know every compromised situation your body is in. They know that more than you do. And when you don't eat right, you don't rest, you don't exercise, your immune system starts to get compromised. Once it's compromised, that's when the virus gets its opportunity, and it takes every opportunity that it gets. While you're sleeping, it's wide awake. So you got to be very careful. And I don't think that enough stress and information is placed on the seriousness of viruses. They are treacherous. They are dangerous. And they are intelligent. And always remember, it's either you or the virus. And the virus will fight hard to survive. That's why you must fight hard to survive. Does that, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am. So, Miss Rebecca, back to the whole virus thing, when you were naming those viruses, based off of the amount that we take on a consistent basis of the aloe vera. Say, for instance, if I had chicken pox versus HIV, is there a time period, right, of staying on the aloe vera to where by me being consistent, it would eventually destroy the virus, or is it based off of how compromised your immune system is and the consistency that you take the aloe vera?
Well, that's a two-part answer. Consistency is a must, because you have to understand, you live among toxins every day, and your body is constantly defending itself and fighting off toxins. And the whole purpose of the immune system is to protect the body, but you've got to prepare the immune system so that it's in the position to protect the body. So consistency is one. Now, for those of you who have been taking the aloe vera prior to these viruses or shortly thereafter, you have not experienced the strength of the aloe vera before as you are now. And the reason that we have to change, because the viruses are changing. And so the aloe vera has to be strong enough to protect the body and kill on contact any virus that attempts to live as a host in the body. And so if you notice, the strength has been much stronger. That's the reason for that. Now, for someone who has another illness, theirs will be even stronger, because you have to be able to attack the illness that you currently have and protect the body to prevent the illness from compromising the immune system. So one thing you must remember, the stronger the product is, the bitter it is, the healthier it will protect you. Because always go back to this. What do you know can live in a bitter environment? And the answer to that question is nothing. And here is why. There is nothing for it to feed on. A bitter environment produces cleanliness. Bacteria will not live in cleanliness. Viruses will not live in cleanliness. Parasites will not live in cleanliness, because there's nothing to feed on. These things are trying to survive. That's why they look for a body that is not cleansed. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am. So the difference between a monkeypox and HIV, is it the rate that the virus in each individual replicates? Because I know I've heard in HIV patients that their viral load can be as high as 3 million, but I guess in the monkeypox, it doesn't the virus doesn't replicate as fast as the HIV virus?
That's true. With cancer, HIV, herpes, what are some of the other ones? They replicate much faster than chicken pox, measles, shingles, those kinds of things, but they all replicate. And when they replicate, what they're trying to do is attack your DNA and change it into what they want it to be. And that's why it's so hard to kill a virus, because it gets busy on working on changing your DNA. And if you don't have anything to protect you, it will change your DNA. And now your system is confused as to what should it produce. So you have to be very careful when you're dealing with these kind of viruses. And that's why the strength of the aloe vera is exceptionally important, that you kill this thing on contact. You don't give it the opportunity to replicate, because it does replicate very, very fast.
So in a comparison of a hospital, a monkeypox would be the equivalent of somebody that's in a coma that may come out of it, but HIV is equivalent to somebody who's on life support, that at any minute their life will can go a different direction, correct?
That's a good scenario, yes.
Okay.
Yes. And HIV, cancer, and even these viruses here are more potent than someone with chickenpox, smallpox, monkeypox, shingles, that kind of thing. But on the other hand, you got to be careful with shingles, especially in adult, because shingles has a method of lying dormant in the body. And remember, these are diseases that you had as a child, and they've laid there waiting. And as a person gets older, their immune system becomes compromised. And so it waits till your system is compromised, and it comes back to surface, but it comes back as shingles. And so you've got to be very careful with them, because as a child, they are contagious, but they're not as deadly as they are in an adult. And so when you see someone with shingles, that person has a serious problem with a compromised immune system. And once that virus compromises your immune system, if you have other illnesses, those illnesses start to surface and make your health become almost tragic, because it's going to be hard for you to fight them off, because the virus is so prevalent, and it will get into your system. And normally, if it starts on the left side, you do not want it to continue till it gets to the right side, because that means it has engulfed all your entire body and all of your organs. So you have to be very careful with it. Does that help you?
Thank you, Mr. Buck.
Okay.
So anybody else want to share a testimony, please? We would appreciate it. Thank you, Ms. Rebecca.
You're welcome. Let me just say this to you all. When you look at it this way, when you pray, when you have a situation and you ask God to help you, you expect to get help. What happens, or what would you think if God turned a deaf ear on you? You would feel lost and deserted. To turn that around, when you're in trouble and you pray and you ask God to help you, and He does, all He asks of you is thanks, praise, and worship. How can you withhold that from Him? If you go back, when God healed 10, and how many came back to thank Him? 1. And what was His question? Where are the other 9? Think about if you asked for help and you didn't get it, where would you be? See, a testimony is to give God the glory, and you never know who else might hear your testimony and realize that there's help and hope for them. Do you get my point? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes. Miss Rebecca, there's a hand up. Cheryl Baldwin. If you can unmute yourself, Cheryl, we recognize your hand and we'll go ahead and give you the floor.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
And hi, Miss Rebecca.
Hi.
And I was gonna give a testimony. Well, I've been on the aloe now for a little over 3 years, and been receiving plenty progress from it. So yeah, I got testimonies. And but the most recent one, just last week, as I was spraying some aerosol around the house that and
What happened?
on and did everything else I was doing, and all of a sudden I felt a burning in my eye, and I looked in the mirror, and it already started getting infected and turning red. So was about 30 minutes later, the pink eye looked like it was worse. And so immediately I grabbed my topical and started applying it, the drops. I skimmed it off of my topical and started putting the drops in my eye. And I did it like every 2 hours. I was putting it in my eye. And that was about maybe 11 or 12 o'clock that day. And by 9 o'clock that night, the eye had started to clear up. And because I felt it kind of irritating, throughout that day. And when I wiped it, every time I wiped it with the tissue, I would see the yellow pussy looking stuff in the mucus that was in there. So I knew it was trying to get infected, but I jumped on it with the topical once I noticed the redness in my eye, and it started to irritate it. And by that night, it was actually cleared up and gone. But I just kept applying it anyway because I just didn't want to take a chance on not getting all the infection out of it and whatever. But it didn't allow it to grow but so much, and it turned it around and stopped it from worsening and whatever. And I said, then that's something that happened right on the spot, and gave me knowledge to start doing the drops more often in my eyes, because I kept saying I need to because of my eyesight and the glaucoma and all of this, but never took the chance to do it. So it encouraged me to start doing it more and more. So now I'm doing them like 3 to 4 times a day. I do drops in my eyes, but didn't have any more problem from that. And it's just something I want to give everybody else to pick up on, to actually start using the drops in your eyes. Even if, just on a daily basis, to keep from anything out there airborne getting into your eyes while you're out, or, even in the house. But that's my testimony for that. And I thank God for Miss Rebecca and the aloe, coming in contact with it, because it's helped me ever since I've been on it. Never came in contact with COVID or none of that. And not saying that I won't, but like I said, it's a blessing to know you got something to fight for you. And I wanted everybody to know about it, and I thank God for it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. Serious reflexology.
Hi, good evening, everybody.
Carol.
Hi. I'm hoping some of the people I know call in and give a testimony. They keep calling and texting me with it. And thank you, Ms. Rebecca. I asked you not too long ago, what's the max I could take? And you said up to 12 ounces. So I bumped it up to 4 ounces 3 times a day. And I sleep deeper, better bowel movements. My head isn't all thoughts all over the place. And I started doing the eye drops, and so much stuff I started on one eye, and so much stuff started coming out of my eyes. I took a picture, and the pictures look so sickening. I wouldn't send them to anybody, but I was going to use that as a testimony. And then it just looks gross. So that's my testimony. I have a lot to say, but I'm hoping that, some of the people I know call in and give their own testimony, especially the guys. I'm getting a lot of reports from the guys. It's almost like liquid gold to them.
Wow.
So I don't tell my customers. The only thing I tell them is they have a pleasant surprise around the 7th day. And wow, one person is maybe he's on. I won't call his name just in case he, but I appreciate his input, his daily input. So it's real. I just came from visiting a friend that Mrs. Rebecca was trying to help, and she just said it was too bitter for her. So now she's in hospice, and I went to see her. Actually, I just got back about a half an hour ago, and I asked her, did she ever try to get the aloe down? She said, well, it's just too bitter. So she's in a lot of pain, and they're giving her a lot of, she said, 3 pain medications. So, I mean, what do you do? It's kind of like I came in late, where you pray for something and then it shows up. So we have free will. So
Yeah.
Virginia
And
Moore.
one of her pain medications, I can tell you, is morphine, which
Oh,
will
yes.
damage all of her organs, and her life is coming to an end.
I know. And she knows that she called her husband's name, and like she was talking to him and her son. So I already know it's somebody bought her a plant, and she asked me to pick the plant up and take it with me. So at the time I didn't feel comfortable, but I kind of felt like, okay, maybe she's let me know this is it. I won't see her next week. I don't know. But I left the plant there, but I just sat there, and I just was like, we have free will.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I could have not taken Clara's advice and trying it. And the Most High knows how I am. If I didn't get that immediate healing reaction on that first day, on that first swallow, I probably been sitting it somewhere on the sideline too, but I got immediate results. And that's what hooked me.
Good.
And just every day is something that disappears. Every day. It's real subtle, but it's you notice it's gone. So, and someone asked me last week, what am I doing to keep myself healthy? And I told them it's homemade, because that's the only way I can differentiate it from the shelf made. It's homemade aloe that's made by this lady, and vitamins. That's it. So I look at all the stuff I've been trying over the years, and this by far has been the cheapest with the highest results. So, and it's bitter, but it disappeared. The bitterness disappears so fast. Sometimes I get ready to go back in and do a second dose until I see the cup in the trash can and it's wet, from the corner. That's okay. I did take it, but it disappears. That bitterness does not hang on. That taste doesn't hang with me. It's just at the moment, as soon as I finish it, it's gone.
Yep.
So I Miss Rebecca, I'm going to start back on my face again and some other areas.
Okay.
I had started, and I started getting results so fast. It was too much for me to handle. I won't go into great detail, but I'll talk about my face and not other parts. But I started to get like an orange peel burn on my face. And I'm thinking, what in the world is happening? And then some other areas, I said, okay, this is too much for me to deal with in my head. Let me just do the topical. And when I'm ready to look in the mirror, because I think that it would clear up fast. It was, I'm sure, pulling impurities out of my face and stuff.
Yep, cleansing it. You were going through a deep detox.
Yes. And my dreams, oh my gosh. It's like, now when I wake up, it's like, okay, when is this going to happen? My grandson gave him a dog away because the dog was getting aggressive, little Puerto Rican Chihuahua. So they gave the dog away to a neighbor, and I had a dream of the dog, like a couple of days before I talked to my grandson. So I'm thinking, wow, why is I forgot his name, Guinness. Guinness is his nickname. I said, why is Guinness showing up in my dream? He's gone. So 2 days later, I talked to my grandson on, Messenger video? And I look here and I'm looking at Guinness. I say, is that Guinness? They said, oh yeah. The lady said we can keep him sometimes. I had just dreamed that he was in their house.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. I was like, okay. It's, whew. So.
Rebecca, it was another lady that had her hand raised. I think Miss Virginia Moore. She had her hand raised, but she took her hand raise and took the hand raising option off. If you want to speak, Miss Moore, you can come on board and speak. Or anyone else that would like to share.
Hello, this is me, Virginia.
Hello.
Hi, how y'all doing today?
We're doing good.
Yeah, speaking of COVID, my daughter and me live in the same house, and we do everything together, cook for each other, and in the same car, in the same room, looking at TV, And she went to work. She didn't feel good, so she went and get tested for COVID, and she had the shot just like I did, but she got COVID. But I was drinking the juice. We live in the same house, so I went and got tested. I didn't have it. And they said, well, it ain't nothing changed what we did, but I never caught COVID, and she did. But the only difference, I was drinking the juice and she wasn't. I tried to get her to drink the juice. But I got a injured knee. But should I keep drinking the same amount, the 8 ounce, or drink more?
You can drink more and it will be stronger each time because we're getting into a season, and I don't know whether you heard about it, that these viruses now are starting to, it's supposed to be somewhere around the middle of this month or the end of this month, come back in groups of threes, and they're supposed to be as contagious and dangerous as the very first virus. And
Yeah,
so you got to have your body built up on the inside because you can't protect it from the outside.
right. Because they called me already for another booster shot for the virus. Because it coming around stronger again. But I still taking my aloe. That's why I got a hurt knee. Should I drink more? So I boosted up to 12 ounce too.
Yep, yep, you can. And
Okay.
with this environment, you can actually go up to 20 ounces a day with this type of environment, because you've got to make sure you keep the body in a position to defend itself.
Okay. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you, Miss Brown.
Okay. Thank you.
And Miss Peggy has her hand raised.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. Hi, Miss Rebecca.
Hi, Peggy. How are you?
I'm doing great this evening. I have a quick question, and this is for somebody that has like, I want to say large pores on the face.
Uh-huh.
Is the topical a suggestion for that?
Yeah, of course, of course. It's the answer for that. It's the answer.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to get them a pint of that and get them started and see if they'll go with the juice as well.
Oh, okay. How is Gina and her husband?
They are on the call tonight.
Oh, are they?
Washington. Yes, ma'am.
Really?
Gina. Yeah, she's there. She's coming in front of the camera now, I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Gina, unmute yourself. I'm sorry, co-host. Acting like I'm a child. Okay, it looks like they're trying to get unmuted right now.
Are they?
Yes, ma'am. I see him trying to helping her out right there.
Hello.
Hi.
How y'all doing? Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
We're doing great. We got the aloe vera today, the extra strength aloe vera today.
Yeah, is she taking it?
She's gonna take it tonight. We just got it this evening.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. And she has to drink it the way we talked about.
She will. She will.
Right,
We
Gina?
appreciate it. We like the testimonies that we listening to as well. So
Good.
looking forward to getting involved and drinking it and getting better.
Good. Good. How are you doing, Gina?
She's just going through it. She's going through the situation.
Okay.
She's gonna get better.
Yeah. Well, I know she will. If she does what we talk about, she will. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I got numbness in my left side.
So all of that is going to be taken care of. Just keep focused and do what we talked about.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
Okay. Take care.
Okay.
Okay. It's good seeing you.
Likewise.
Okay.
Okay, well, we want to thank everyone. It's 8:49. We want to let everyone know that our next meeting will be held on November the 18th at 8 p.m. It was the date was pushed back to the 18th because of a federal holiday on November 11th. So that will be our next meeting. Everyone will get an email regarding that Zoom meeting. And also we will have a slideshow to show you where Miss Rebecca will be tomorrow at the barn in Southeast. When Barbara pulls it up.
I'm doing that. Just give me a minute.
All righty. But once again, we want to thank everyone. And of course, thank you, Miss Rebecca.
You're
Your
welcome.
aloe is definitely a lifesaver. And I know that the viruses will be rolling in when the weather changes. And
Yep.
I will be rolling with my aloe vera. Me and my mother and my husband and everybody in here. So even Coco, the dog. I just told Coco, I said, I got to give you your aloe vera. I haven't been on point with it, but he's going to get it tonight.
Can everybody see the see the slide?
Yes.
Okay.
So someone has a hand raised. Serious reflexology.
Yeah, can dogs and cats take it?
My dog takes it.
Yeah, anything living
Okay.
that has cells, that has tissue can take it. Anything and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a dog, and every morning when I feed her, I make sure she has her aloe vera. And at night, I make sure she go and get her dose. And she is anything and everything that comes around, she's after it.
Okay. Okay. Is there what's a starting dose for a dog?
You would it depends on the size of the dog, but no less than 4 ounces a day, like a human being.
Okay, so like 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Any animal that's breathing can take it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Someone wants to know how, Miss Peggy wants to know how she can get her name on the email list.
I just sent her an email.
No, I'm on there. I'm trying to get some other people on the Zoom call, and then I know the Washingtons. I had to forward them a link this evening, so I'm just trying to find out about how to get people added to the list for the Zoom call.
Just send us the email address for the people, and we will definitely add them to the email list.
Okay, where am I sending it to?
You're sending it
Can you
to.
put that in the chat?
Yes.
Okay, great.
I just posted it on. Can everybody see?
The email address,
Email address?
ABC&H.
No, ma'am.
Peggy, can you see that?
No. Oh, down here at the bottom, email it to right here. Okay.
Yes.
It says
Okay, got it.
abch.avjuice@gmail.com.
Got it. Thank you.
One of the other things I want to say before we close, I had the opportunity of talking to a woman that was taking the juice, and she was telling me all of her issues that she has. And so she called me to say that she wasn't sure whether it was working. And one of the issues was insomnia. So I said to her, okay, after a week, are you still having insomnia? And she said, yes. And I said, so how many hours do you sleep at night? And she said, oh, I don't have it anymore. I slept like 7 or 8 hours last night. I said that to say this. A lot of your health issues are resolved, but they're so subtle, you don't realize that they're gone. What you need to do is make a list of what you had and check to see whether you still have it, because a lot of them are gone, but you don't realize it because you don't have it anymore. So it's like an evaluation process. You know, is it working? And in order to determine that, you have to do an analogy of Do you have that issue anymore? And if you don't, guess what? Yes, it's working, but it's very subtle. So just be very mindful of that. Okay.
Donna, I see that there's another hand.
That's serious reflexology. You had something else to say? She may not put her hand down from the last.
No,
time.
I'm sorry. I meant to put it down. Let me go back.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, once again, we want to thank everyone for joining us tonight, and we look forward to seeing everyone on the 18th of November at 8 o'clock.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
Thank you all. Have a great one.
Good
Thank
night.
you. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Mhm.